Hello and welcome to the Strategic Bookkeeper podcast. In today's episode, I am going to be giving you some information, some education, some help based on some questions that have come to me through two of our starter membership members. Now, not so long ago, we opened the doors to our starter membership, which is $59 for 12 months access, which most people find hard to believe. They say, Jeannie, is it a monthly fee? No, the starter membership, which is a great place to start if you feel like you're not ready for our signature transformation program, it is just a one-off fee of $59 for 12 months access. But due to demand, I've decided to make it evergreen, meaning that you can now join in our starter membership at any time. That's what we're doing right now. Whether we'll need to close the doors at some stage, I do not know. But what I'm going to do is drop a link to the starter membership into the show notes. The URL at the moment is a bit long. I'm trying to get my team to change it. At the moment, you could find it if you paused the podcast and went to the strategicbookkeeper.global/TSB-starter-membership. I also noticed that if you Google the Strategic Bookkeeper Starter Membership, it'll usually just pop up. In fact, if you Google the Strategic Bookkeeper, you will not find anything but me and my team and my project for probably 6 or more pages. Okay, so we are easy to find. For me, launching the starter membership has been really, really exciting because it's meant that anyone on my email database, and that tends to be, it's a bunch of people, a certain amount of them are inside my signature program, which is amazing because I love connecting with them and helping them, right? But the starter membership allowed me to see who else really was serious about wanting my help. Okay. And the same in socials. Socials, it is awful. Literally right now, I can barely even post on socials. Facebook is glitching. They've restricted my account. I hate socials. It's a necessary evil. So for me, the ability to have you tell me, yes, Jeannie, I'm serious about getting your help. You do that by joining the starter membership. And then what happens is you come into an academy in its own right. And I can literally see you. Okay. And there's a monthly masterclass, which you can join in or you can listen to podcast style in your native podcast app and more. Okay. For me, the most exciting part is seeing the individuals, the bookkeepers all over the world, Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, the UK, all over the world, who are really serious about getting my help and being able to actually really connect with them, okay, in real time, connecting with them on Facebook Messenger because, yes, they message me, on the email, in the masterclass, in the academy, in the group. I can see these beautiful humans and I can definitely help them more. And once again, I can see that they are serious about wanting my help, okay? So really exciting to me. So in a second, we're going to jump into the episode. And primarily what we're going to look at is what I would really frame up around conversion, because the questions that have come about where it's like, okay, a PC, which is a prospective client, has contacted me and they've asked me ABC, and I'm wondering what I do next, Jeannie, okay? And actually inside the starter membership, I give you incredible resources to get rocking and rolling with to help you with exactly this, all right? So I'm going to create this podcast for you today to help you with what to do in these scenarios when a PC connects with you, ready to get your help, so you can maximize the opportunity that exists and be far more likely to convert that PC into a client, a VIP, a raving fan, and a high value client without price as a priority. So let's jump in. I'm Jeannie Savage, the Strategic Bookkeeper. I've been in practice for 14 years, but more importantly, 5 years in, I achieved a lifestyle practice. This means I scaled my business, could take my hands off the wheel, and draw a nice 6-figure income while being time rich. And that's what I call my dream on my terms. I was recently awarded Women in Finance Innovator of the Year, recognizing my book, my podcast, my program, and my impact globally. The Strategic Bookkeeper is my life's work, and the opportunity to help bookkeepers globally achieve the income and lifestyle that sets them free absolutely fills my cup. Please do connect with me on socials at the Strategic Bookkeepers Way private Facebook group, or shoot me an email, hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global. Okay, my friends. So when I'm recording this podcast, sometimes I like to share where I'm at. If you're getting to know me, you're probably getting to know that I like to connect as much as I can, even when it's a one-to-many audience. I love connection, love to connect deeply. So it is almost 3 p.m. in the afternoon here on the beautiful Gold Coast, and it's actually the 29th of June when I'm recording this, as I record in advance. Sometimes I batch. I've just got home from a few weeks away in a little bit of Hong Kong, London for some work, and some great time in Spain. Jet lag's hit me pretty hard this week. I've been straight back into it. But I'm sitting here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and at the end of June, like the middle of winter on the Gold Coast, oh my goodness, feeling blessed because the weather is glorious. It's about 23 degrees. It is sunny. It is warm. There is no chilly wind. The wind is beautiful. So feeling really blessed today and really enjoying being home. Traveling is wonderful. Home is wonderful too. And I missed my home. Some of you may know that I've been renovating for the last 12 months. And so I feel like my home has missed me and I've certainly missed it. So I've just been hanging out with my son. He turns 14 on Monday. We've been hanging out, having some lunch. I've been getting ready to cook some beautiful dinner because cooking is my happy place and I could do it all day. So with that little personal share done, let's jump into the podcast. Now, I'm going to name it to tame it a little bit and let you know that I have literally printed out a couple of emails from an amazing starter membership member who is going to join our signature program as well. She's just so pumped. She lives in America. I live in Australia, but I do serve bookkeepers primarily in Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, and the UK. They are the main areas. But inside of our starter membership, we do have bookkeepers from the Philippines. We've got bookkeepers from all around. And I receive messages from bookkeepers in Africa, in Pakistan, from all over the world. Partly because the content that I serve up, it starts from no cost, like the ebook that we had available for a long time at no cost. This podcast is no cost. And then through to low cost. I think the ebook is pivoting to being available on our website at about $4.95. So very accessible to anyone, anywhere in the world. This podcast will still remain free, and we have offered up a lot of this content. I've even personally sent a signed copy of my book to Africa. And the message that I get is a lot of gratitude for the help that I'm giving in my free and low cost content, which is, as you can imagine, absolutely amazing to me. So I've got some questions, comments, suggestions from this wonderful bookkeeper who we'll call Sally. And then I've got another great bookkeeper in America I've connected with. She's in my starter membership as well. She also lives in America. And she asked me a question that was similar to this. And from my point of view, these questions relate to conversion. So what I wanted to do, and prior to this, I actually did send Sally a 10-minute audio clip just from me to her. I usually try and make audio clips like that public podcast. However, if you do email me and you ask me questions, I do my best to send you audio clips back. And then I often create a public podcast to help you, to help others. And I often give you the raw content before it even goes to air. So it's amazing what happens when you step outside your comfort zone and you ask questions. I'm going to encourage everyone to do that. A quick word on how to work with me. You can join the waitlist for the Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program, which is a world-class, world-first, described by members as mind-blowing, which typically pays for itself within a month and has a full money-back guarantee. Simply go to thestrategicbookkeeper.global/waitlist. I also have a pricing academy with a calculator and my entire suite of productized services, plus other courses and resources on my website. Email me if you have any questions, okay? So I think that what we're talking about today is conversion, and this is something I'm really, really, really passionate about. Now, I haven't sat down and made a structure for today's podcast. I'm going kind of off the cuff, so to speak, but it's really important to tell you what I want for you from this, okay? Because as someone who my team calls me organized chaos, I am an organized human, but I also love to be able to go with the flow, right? But I'm a trainer and assessor as well. And so what I want for you, and when I don't have so much structure, I want to make sure you know this, is that I want you to be able to really look at what you're doing now versus maybe some of the things that I suggest that you do. I want you to know what I tell you and educate you on is really working incredibly well for every single bookkeeper who is using these tools, okay? So inside my signature program and even outside my program, okay? So these are proven strategies, and they're also pretty old school strategies, okay? Sales and marketing and all these things, the strategies and the principles don't generally change, but the way that we apply them inside the economic landscape, okay, and the tech landscape and consumer, okay, so the way we apply these inside those three landscapes, if you think it that way, that changes all the time. It's like, oh my goodness, it's like painting a Picasso. It's tricky stuff, okay? Brand marketing and selling is tricky stuff. Whereas the back end of your business, right, the business administration, black, white, and linear, not much changes except the tech we use, okay? And even my right-hand Joe, who heads up all those things at Strategic Bookkeeper, she said to me before, do you know what, Jeannie? Not much has changed in 10, 15 years, like a little bit, but not a lot. Whereas I can tell you, in the space of 6 months, in the space of a month, things can really change in the brand marketing selling area. And I really think that this is one of the reasons that I've noticed as a bookkeeper in practice, who's been in practice 14 years, that apart from myself, nobody has really shown up to provide the really deep detail and support and done for you assets that make it all work, because it is tricky, hard stuff, okay? So I'm going to jump into having a look at this email. Now, Sally says quite a few things, but I'm going to jump to the part where she says, I have 3 PC appointments. I love that Sally has read my book. She is literally living and breathing me. And that is how you'll get the best out of me. If you read my book twice, if you listen to my podcast, I think she even said in her second email, she hasn't listened to music for ages. It's just me. And honestly, you find a thought leader who can help you, just immerse yourself in them. Okay. So she said, I have 3 PC appointments. That means prospective client coming up, and I want to do a health check. Okay. So if you haven't read my book, a health check is probably your core welcome line that exists in your product ladder. If all this sounds confusing, please make time to read my book. The audio book is less than 6 hours long. The hardest thing in the world for an author to do is to write a short book. That's what I did for you to get it done, okay? So no excuses. Go online and get the audio book and listen to it, because some of these concepts may not make sense. And you know what? If you want to thrive in practice, they need to. So dig in, do the work, and get it done. So back to the email. She says 3 PC appointments coming up. She wants to do a health check, which is a file health check. So an accounting file health check, which is exactly where she should start. And she knows that, right? Sally knows that. She says, I haven't stumbled across this in my training just yet, inside the starter membership. Is that something that's available in the program that I'm currently on? So the starter membership. So in terms of the health check, okay, so inside the starter membership, we don't give you the health check intellectual property. That is inside my signature program. However, in my book, we do explain to you how to do it. What we give you inside the starter membership is something called a conversion resource, which gives you, it's like a training in its own right. And along with the training, you literally get my needs analysis. It is like killer IP. It's crazy that I put that in the starter membership. So what I said to Sally is I want you to grab that needs analysis and I want you to use that. And I'm going to explain a bit more about that. But before I do, given that you don't have the education and the asset and the implementation, etc., for the health check from my signature program like Sally, unless you're inside that, then I'm just going to let you know that a file health check is a file health check, okay? If you're a bookkeeper in practice and you're lacking some of the technical skills, then there are tons and tons of people that can support you with that. And one day the strategic bookkeeper might do that. But right now, our focus is on helping technically skilled bookkeepers to build and maintain highly profitable practices, okay? But in terms of a file health check, if you don't have ours, then you just want to make sure that you're ready to do a basic file health check, okay? You're going to be looking at the various parts of the profit and loss, the balance sheet, etc., just to see, to take the pulse of the file and give it a score from 1 to 10. 10 being it's an absolute shit fight. You probably need a new file. Excuse my Australian terms. 1 being it's a perfect file, which in 14 years I've never seen. I think the best we've scored a file is a 3 and the worst has been a 9, I think. So in terms of a file health check, I'm confident that you can kind of get that done, okay? But before the file health check, what I said to Sally is you absolutely need to start with the needs analysis, okay? So if you want to join my starter membership, which I explained in the intro, then you will get access to the conversion resource training plus the needs analysis, okay? Now I'm going to share some stuff with you, which is absolute gold. And to share this at no cost inside this podcast is really high value. So listen up and know that inside my signature program, you get the support to make it all work again, okay? So when you get my needs analysis, what I recommend you do when a PC contacts you. So Sally said she's got 3 appointments. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I do so you can recreate it. Okay. So remember what I said I wanted for you at the beginning of this podcast. Analyze what you're doing compared to what I say to do. Look at the gaps, look at how you can change things up, okay? So you can think about the action you're going to take after this, all right? So PC calls me. Hi, I want some help with bookkeeping. All right. So they've clearly somehow they've found me, and I can tell you right now, they've gone through the customer journey and they've spent quite a lot of time online getting to know, like, and trust me. That's how things work these days. I'm not going to go into that too much right now, but basically the moral of that story is by the time I pick up the phone, they already know me in the digital world. And if you've read my book, you'll know that our brains don't distinguish between digital and real. Amazing. So I'll say, yep, okay, great. I might say, how did you hear about me? And they'll tell me about that. And then I say, okay, so here's how I work. And occasionally a PC says, I'd like to know when I can catch up with you in person to have a meeting. To which I personally say, okay, before we ever do that, the way that I work is to conduct a 5 to 15 minute needs analysis, which I can do now over the phone if you have time. Do you have time? And 100% of the time they say yes, because they've made time to call a bookkeeper, okay? If they said no, you could book a time. So they say yes. And I say, okay, if you could just give me a minute, I'm going to bring up my needs analysis template so that I can do this with you. Now, what happens when I do that is I position myself as an expert. So my profile elevates in their mind. My value, my perceived value starts to skyrocket because I've taken control of the conversation and I've used the phrase needs analysis. I've shown that I'm organized enough to be able to bring up a file and to conduct something that's not just a chat and a conversation, but it's actually a structured way that an accounting technician like myself, a strategic bookkeeper, would go about analyzing what this entrepreneur needs. So the result of that I have found over the years is that nobody ever asks anymore, what do you cost? Never, ever. When I do that, they go quiet. My perceived value skyrockets just in the 30 to 60 seconds that it takes me to bring that file up. And then I say to them, okay, I'm just going to pop your details into my needs analysis. So I put their name, their phone number in, primarily their email. If I have that, great. If I don't, I just check in with them and grab it. And I say, okay, now all of that's done. Tell me about yourself. Okay. I do not say, what do you need? How can I help? Or tell me about your business. I say, tell me about yourself. And I can tell you the bookkeepers inside my signature program are absolutely on the floor, just shocked at how transformational that is. If you've read my book, you'll hear me talk about selling the why, not the what. Okay. And the why is tell me about yourself. And my right hand Joe, who runs my bookkeeping practice, said to me, sometimes, Jeannie, when I ask that question, they go on and on about all of their personal lives. Perfect. You're getting into why they need you. Yeah. Not the what, which is the bookkeeping. Now, the way that my PC answers that question is different every time. Yeah. Some people will bare their souls to me. Some people will get straight into the nitty gritty. Yeah. It depends on the kind of person that they are. Now, to cut a long story short, and in the interests of keeping this podcast on time, I like to keep my podcast short and sharp. I'll let you know that once they kind of tell you about themselves, then you can get an idea of what they need, okay? But ultimately, the first thing that you should sell every single PC that comes through your door, unless they don't have an accounting file, and most of ours do, okay? So the first thing that you should sell them is a file health check. Okay. And there are a million reasons for that. One of those reasons is because a file health check is a welcome line that you learn about in my book. So it is much easier to sell a $99 product than it is to sell what we really have to sell, which is usually $1,500 of initial catch-up rectification or bookkeeping work. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Is much easier to welcome someone through the door for cheese and crackers with that welcome line file health check than it is to immediately try and sell them into what's called a core product. Okay. Again, if any of this doesn't make sense, read my book and then read it again. Okay. So the second reason is that when you sell them into that $99 file health check, then you are going to turn a prospective client into a client. And a client, my friends, is 10 times more likely to buy than a PC. So once you sell something low cost to them, they're 10 times more likely to give you $1,000 or $2,000 when you go back to them to sell something else. Okay. Now, your job when you put the sales and marketing hat on is to help people make a decision. Yeah. So none of this is sales tactics. Okay. You do not leave your ethics, your morals at the door. This is you helping someone make a decision. Okay. Can you help this person? Yes. There are times when PCs call me and they tell me the situation they're in. And I literally say, I am so glad you found me because I know I can help them. I know I can make them see bunnies and rainbows, as I like to say. Yeah. So I am so passionate about helping them, and my job is to help them make a decision. And that file health check, that welcome line strategy is the way I'm going to help them to make a decision, something that most humans find incredibly hard to do because fear, doubt, and indecision is what keeps us stuck. Okay. All of us stuck. Bookkeepers, entrepreneurs, all of us. Okay. So I'll rewind a second and say that when you're doing the needs analysis, once they tell you all about themselves, I recommend that you just ask them a few more questions, get down what you think they want to need. You're only going to be able to see a certain amount into the future, right? Don't try to understand everything. You will learn that over time once you do the file health check and you spend more time with them. So you just need to know enough in that 5 to 15 minutes over the phone. And then I say, okay, I know exactly what you need, and I'd like to send that to you, my personal recommendations, by close of business tomorrow. Is that okay with you? To which 100% of people say, that'd be wonderful, Jeannie. Nobody ever asks, what do you cost or anything like that, okay? So then what we need to do is what Mercedes do. So if you go to buy a brand new Mercedes, you'll walk into the dealership and they'll tell you that there's an 8-week wait. And you'll feel like, oh, I just want my Mercedes today, but it's going to take 8 weeks, and you accept that. So you'll go ahead and order it, and then your Mercedes will arrive in 6 weeks, and you'll be so excited because it arrived early, and the value that you saw in Mercedes and everything that you thought was always awesome will skyrocket once again, and you'll tell all your friends. The moral of this story is that you need to under promise and over deliver. So if you say that their proposal will come by close of business tomorrow, send it half a day or a day early. You're going to make a proposal for a file health check. Okay, so we're going to wrap this podcast up soon. Right now, what I want to let you know is that inside my transformation program, the way we help you with that, and then inside the starter membership. So the starter membership is a great place to start if you feel like you're not ready for the signature program. Okay, if you're a bookkeeper in practice, I would absolutely recommend that you join my signature program. But if for whatever reason you feel like you're just not ready, fear, doubt, and indecision is holding you back, whatever the reason is, a starter membership is a great place to start. Inside the starter membership, I help you with lots of content in there, which you'll see when you go to the starter membership page. Inside my signature program, you get the education in depth, okay, in an academy portal. You get the done for you asset. So you get $1 million storybook brochure with the done for you menu, which you read about in my book. You get an entire conversion process. You get all the support around how you do that file health check, but you get the ability to sell it through at much higher rates, like 100% of prospective clients generally say yes, okay? And then you get the ability to then do the second conversion into the $1, $2, or however many $1,000 worth of products, and then into the next conversion. Okay, so that's the difference there. So my question to you now is, what are you going to do next? Because my suggestion is absolutely, if you are not inside my signature program, then jump in and join the starter membership. Okay, because then you're going to get my needs analysis, and I want everyone using it. All right, and if you're really serious about me helping you, you're absolutely going to join the starter membership. If you're not serious about me helping you, that's okay. That is your prerogative. But I'm going to recommend that on your action plan, you do that. Another one may be joining our wait list. So not sure when you'll be listening to this podcast episode, because it is the 29th of June and we are opening the doors to the program again, which we only do 3 times a year. We're doing that very, very soon. So it may be that we're either on wait list or the doors are open. Okay. So you can find us at the strategicbookkeeper.global/waitlist and join the waitlist for the program. But you can also just shoot me an email. Okay. The next thing is you can listen to this podcast again with my needs analysis in hand if you've joined the starter membership. And then you can have it on your desk and make some notes about what I've said and try it. Get out there and try it. Progress over perfection. Okay. You won't know until you do it. In fact, one of the bookkeepers inside my program, she's amazing. I love her. We were doing a business development challenge recently where I showed up every day for a few weeks and I pushed everyone to basically generate more business inside their practice. And there was an activity that I wanted her to do, and it was called the 20-minute call process with all of her clients that would basically upgrade them from basic bookkeeping to strategic bookkeeping. And she pushed back and she didn't want to do it, but she trusted me and she did it and she got the most amazing results. And the moral of the story is, trust me now and believe me later. That's what everyone in my tribe says. So why not trust me? You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain by trying what I've told you all about in this podcast. I will reiterate again that if you join my signature program, this is absolutely turbocharged. Your success is 100% inevitable inside my signature program, okay? Because everything that you want and need is inside there, including me guaranteeing your success, okay? With all that said, I'll see you in the next episode. Okay, my friend, now it is time to take action. So what are you going to do with what you learned today? The way I see it, you've got 2 options. You can go it alone to try and save some money, or you can back yourself and go for it and join my tribe. And let me tell you, we are knocking it out of the ballpark. That's not a sales pitch. That is me serving you, dare I say, courageously. To find success, I 100% know you need the mechanics, which is like the keys to the kingdom, but you also need to get your mindset right and be super productive. And these are all things I help you with inside the program. I could go on about this forever because I really want this for you. Have a prosperous week and I'll see you in the next episode.